can hear us, right?
We don't have microphones.
Yeah.
Score technology.
Yeah.
Throw it in the trash.
Show them the trash.
How fun.
Thank you. So we're so happy you're here. I'm Henry.
Oh, that means by deduction, I'm not even gonna say it. Lynn, not Henry, that's right.
And we're going to brag because it can't be said enough. This is our 40th book together. Amazing. And the reason I say that is because I grew up not being able to read. I read the first book at 31 when I said, I've got to just try this. And I got through a novel. Lynn has been writing and reading all of her life. So it is just an amazing collaboration. You know what we thought? Instead of us just chattering up here, does anybody, what would you like to hear? Anybody have a question that you've always wanted to know? Okay, we're going to chat then. and yes, ma'am. What is your name?
Luanda.
Hi.
I met you before.
Yes.
Yeah. You had told a story about how your father was it wood? Was it wood?
My father.
Yeah.
Oh, my father escaped Nazi Germany, and because there really was a Holocaust, and he worked in the lumber business. And brought it over here to America and wanted me to take it over. And he said, why do you think I brought the business over here?
Right,
Because I wanted to be an actor and he wanted me to sell wood. And I said, what was the question? Why do you think I brought it over here?
Yeah.
And I said, is there another reason besides being chased by the Nazis, Dad? Because I'd like to know what it is.
No, I want to hear the story about the wood, how you became an actor. And also, you know, you had talked about you didn't read.
So that's not the story you want to hear. I swear to God,
Okay,
I thought that was it. You said father.
Okay, let's switch things. Okay, so you talked about you didn't read to 31. Can you tell those people sort of know, but can you tell
Okay,
us why?
I wanted to be an actor, and I never let the dream out of my brain. And for all of the young people in this audience tonight, if you're in school and you're having trouble in school, I'm here to tell you that how you learn, no matter how difficult it is, has nothing to do with how brilliant you are. It has nothing to do with how fabulous your imagination is. It doesn't matter what grades you get, your mind is alive. And I had to learn that. And of course, Lynn was an incredible student and the head of her newspaper. And
Well, we sort of share the same story because Henry said that he always wanted to be an actor and he doesn't know how he got that idea. It was just part of him. And I always wanted to be a writer, and I can never remember a time when I didn't want to be a writer. And so what I would do when I was 2 or 3 years old is I would get on my tricycle and ride up and down the block and knock on everybody's door and say, do you want to know what happened in our house last night? I was a menace to my family. But it was telling stories, and then they would tell me their stories, and I still do the same thing. My best friend of over 50 years is here today, Trudy Ferguson. We have been telling each other stories about everyone we know since the day we met, which was in high school. So writing is essentially storytelling. I don't know, do you think acting is storytelling?
Actors are absolutely storytellers. The reason you're an actor is not to have a fancy car. It is to be the mirror for society to see themselves. That is our job. And then it's kind of morphed into being a television star. But even on happy days, we told little stories in 24 minutes that always had a moral. Our books, you know, the little duckling dreams about being a detective, and her best friend is a yellow-spotted salamander who says you can do anything you want. And she is also, which was very important to Lynn, an environmentalist.
I just have one
So
question.
it's possible to tell a story that is funny and entertaining, because we write comedy. We both come from the world of comedy. So the most important thing is that when children read our books, they're laughing. And then in that laughter, we slide in a moral, really, a message, what we want them to take away from the story. But it doesn't start with the moral. That was old school children's books used to do that. The Victorian, they started with, they were morality tales, like what would happen if you don't say please and thank you. Terrible things would happen. So we don't start with the moral, we start with the comedy, but into that we insert what we want to say. And what we want to say with these books is it's really important to love your natural environment, to take care of it.
I just have a question. How did the two of you meet? And how-
Okay. I did a Broadway play with the late, great John Ritter.
Mhm.
We were there for 9 months. And I came back, and I couldn't get hired. Everybody said, wow, he is so funny. He is a wonderful fellow. But he was the Fonz. So I went to a friend, and I said, I'm having a problem. I can't get hired. He said, write books for children about your learning challenges. I said, I can't because I've got a learning challenge. And then he said, I'm going to introduce you to Lynn Oliver, who knows everything about children's literature, because Lynn started or co-founded the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators that now have over 25,000 members worldwide. So we met for lunch. The fish was horrible, but the meeting was great. And we broke Hank Zipser at that lunch. Then I called my agent, Esther Newberg in New York City, big book agent. I said, Esther, will you read our proposal? She said, I don't do children's books. I said, but you know what, you might, because we wrote a great book. I don't do children's books. I said, I know you don't, but there's always a first time. She said, send it to me. We sent it to her. She sent it to 5 publishers. 3 said no, 1 said maybe, 1 said, I'll give you a contract for 4 novels. And that 4 turned into the 40 that we have now written together.
That's amazing.
I'll just say one word about that. Those books became the Hank Zipser series, which were what we talked about over that rotten fish was Henry's childhood, that he had these very stern parents who thought that he wasn't trying in school, that he wasn't achieving because he wasn't trying, when in fact he had a learning challenge. And that was so touching to me. I don't have a learning challenge. We have 3 sons who have various challenges. We're not sure what they are, but we heard about them from the principal. So I really responded to the idea of a boy trying his best but not quite succeeding in school. Boys don't necessarily have an easy time in school. You know, they're supposed to sit still and raise their hand and not go to the bathroom except when they're told to.
Oh, see, I had Miss Adolph in the 4th grade. I think she was related. I raised my hand to go to the boys' room. I am still waiting for her to call on me.
You do look bloated.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. But sir, you had a question.
Yeah.
What is your name?
David.
Hi, Dave.
This is Trudy's son, David.
Hi, Dave. We met before.
We have.
It's
yes.
nice to see
Probably when he
you.
was 4 years old.
Did we meet in San Francisco?
We met in Reno.
In Reno.
Yeah, hot August nights.
Hot August.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
My question is, logistically, how do you write a book together? Do you split up
Great
assignments in some way? Does one of you come up with the story and one of you writes?
No.
What is the
It
collaborative process
It's amazing. I love this story. I'm going to tell it. First, we met at Lynn's office, and we sat in chairs opposite each other, and we spun a story. And if the story came out and tumbled, and oh well, he could do this and they could do that, and his father does this and the teacher does that, oh my God, it like erupted like a volcano. We wrote that story. There were some stories that did not go anywhere. Well, I guess, and then we trashed it. Okay, now we go to the writing process. There is not one way to do anything. There is your way. Lynn is sitting at the computer because she can type, she can spell, and she has a vocabulary. She's there. I'm walking around her office. I'm talking. Lynn is typing. Lynn has an idea. She types. I wait. She reads it back to me. We argue over every word. And then she says, "You have driven me to drink." And she has a diet Snapple.
A lot of fun at a party, I'll tell you that. Bring out the Diet Snapples.
And we have written 40 books like that. And then during the pandemic, we wrote on Zoom. We write on Zoom now. So you figure out how to do it, and because because we work in television, she takes over here.
Oh, you want me to? Oh. The engine wore down, I guess.
No, I could keep going.
Oh, this is
You
warming.
love this part.
Yes, because we both come from television. You may have seen Henry on television once or twice.
Hey.
And you never see me because I was in the back room writing. Television is a collaborative medium where you write together, you write in a room. And so you pitch out an idea for a sentence, for a joke, for a plot point. Did I make that noise? And so we got very used to that. So it's not like going into a novel, into a room to write a novel, as a 19th century Russian poet or something. That doesn't happen that way. We're very good at working collaboratively, working together. And the arguing part is, well, I like to call it collaboration. Henry likes to call it argument. And it's somewhere, it falls somewhere along the continuum, because sometimes he gets really stubborn. Can I say that? Yeah.
I get stubborn.
And sometimes I get really stubborn.
If you look up stubborn in a dictionary, it says Lynn Oliver.
There's a lot of peach snapple, a lot of diet peach snapple. But you hear a sound, you hear a rhythm. That's what Henry always says. The rhythm isn't right to his ear, which is probably very accurate because he's an actor, so he's used to having the material come alive out loud. I'm used to seeing it in letters on a page, so we sort of come at it differently.
But whatever we came at, it worked because we would write it, send it in, get notes. Now, Lynn was used to getting notes from an editor in a publishing house. I was not. And I couldn't believe that someone was actually giving us notes on one of the greatest things ever written. And then Lynn had to calm me down, and we went through every note. And those that we just wouldn't, there were some we wouldn't do, but we did most of the notes. And then all of a sudden they were bound, and here we are. And they are real books.
Lynn, hi Lynn. I want to bring this back for one more minute, all the way back to when you first met this man. What
When you
were
first
your
met him?
that man right there? That first book proposal. What were your thoughts of Mr. Winkler when you first met him? He had
What
this
were your
idea.
thoughts?
What was your impression?
What were your thoughts?
Just trying to think.
I'm really
Impressions, Lynn. His first
It was
impression.
20 years ago. So
Yeah, but no. I'm really interested in what were your thoughts?
I'll tell you.
First impression.
I was sort of teary because this is a person that I only know as a celebrity. I have not met him in any other way. So I thought he was confident. I assumed he was confident. He might have been a little bit narcissistic, a little bit egotistical. I assumed that he was the archetype of a successful actor. And instead what he was humbled by his experience in school, devastated even. And so for me, my first thought was that I was kind of teary for you. I thought, I love children, and I'm good with children. I spend a lot of time with children. And when you see a child who's being abused is too strong a word, but
No, it's not.
being not seen.
I would go with abuse.
Abused?
Yeah.
Not seen.
They were very
all of us
short
want.
German people. I did not like them.
And really, all of us want is to be seen for who we are. And I feel that very strongly. That's what our books are about. And when you strip away all the other comedy, what they're about is a child wanting to be seen and being successful at being seen. So I was coming at it from that perspective. And he was telling me a story of this little kid in New York who had to wear a tie and go to a fancy boys' school and could never feel like he was successful. So it was humbled and moved really more than kind of wowed by his celebrity.
Thank you.
Now I'm wowed by his
Yeah.
celebrity.
Sir, what is your name?
When would you, Mr. Winkler and Lisa, when would you guys be ready to pass the torch to the next generation?
Oh, wow, you know what? I'll tell you what. When our imaginations stop, when our mouths stop, and when her fingers don't work anymore.
Or eyes. There are many things that could not work.
Yeah, but eyes okay.
Yeah.
Eyes are all right.
I could write these books.
Yeah. We could talk them into a recording.
But there's another part to that, which is through my work with the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators, I have spent my life bringing up the next generation of people who write for children. So that's what I have said. I believe very firmly that when you rise to the top, you send the elevator back down to pick up some more people and bring them up. And so we have, the organization, that's what the organization is. There are 30,000 members, all of whom want to publish a book, and many of whom do.
I will tell you something that is really interesting. I was at drama school, and I was in the repertory company. I made $173 a week. I was being a professional. I was living my dream. I was starting my dream. This was in 1970. And some of the people from the drama school went to New York City. We were close to New York. And they were doing plays, and they were auditioning, and they were doing movies. And I thought, oh my goodness, they're all getting the work. There's no work. They're going to take all the jobs. And what you realize is there is room for everybody. If you can do it, if you have the will to try it, you can find your way through that small hole in the dam, in the hole in the wall, and get to the other side. There is room for you. So it's not a matter of passing the torch. We are not ever stopping anybody from wanting to do it, I think. What is your name?
Iona.
Iona.
Yes. I grew up watching you, and you said you were 31 when you. How old were you when you did Happy Days?
27.
So
I
how
was
did you
the
learn-
oldest teenager in captivity.
And the most fun.
How did you learn, or was it all improv?
No, but that's interesting. I learned my lines by reading them very slowly over and over again. And then when you do 24 episodes in a year, it's like a muscle. Pretty soon I was able to take the script and just rub it on my body, and it went in. But I had to be very, very precise in the beginning, because Monday morning, 10 o'clock, we all sat around the table and read the script. And if I did not read it correctly, I didn't give the right cue to my fellow actor, I screwed them up, you know? So it was I was embarrassed a lot. I improv'd when I could not make the words out on the page.
And you did a great job. And you did a great job with it.
Yeah. When I auditioned, I would memorize as fast as I could. I would do as much as I memorized. And when I ran out of memorization, I improvised. And people said, well, you know, you're not doing what's written. And I said, I'm giving you the essence of the character. Yeah.
Tell me a story about the comb.
The comb. So, when I talked about your imagination as a young person being very powerful, you're not hired in whatever job you want to do to just fill time and space. So that's my wife. No, she finds me everywhere. So on the very first day of Happy Days, it said in the script, go to the mirror, comb your hair. And I went to the producer and I said, please, I want to be original. I don't want to comb my hair. Every actor that has ever played this kind of part has combed their hair. He said, it's written, go comb your hair. So I walked into the mirror, I pulled out my comb, and I went, hey, look at that, it's perfect. I don't So I did what they told me, but it came out of me the way, I don't know where it came from, I just went with it. And I've been doing that my whole life. In 24 days, I'm going to be 80. And I just have improvised myself. Daniel.
Do you think if you were not successful or became a celebrity or an actor that you would have gone towards wanting to publish books?
I don't know. Writing books was a time filler. And then learning all the rules and having so much fun, it became a profession. It became my second profession. Oh my Lord. You know, and then Lynn has written so many books on her own, by herself. You know, so it's great. So, thank you so much for being here. And I say, let's sign. So is the puppy.
All right, so we'll be here. I think the event coordinator has, there we go, has